So over the first 2 days of this week, both Monday and Tuesday, we had some pretty slow market action, some choppy action. The S&P was still pretty subdued, not finding much trend. And unfortunately, I lost about $1,500 in those 2 days. About 2% of my portfolio, a comfortable loss for my portfolio. We'll review those losing trades in today's video. Now, after Tuesday, on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm sure you guys know if you've been watching the market, we have seen some insane upside moves in the market. The S&P 500 waking up yesterday and very much waking up today over 4,200. And with that price action comes better opportunities. When we get that better price action, our technical setups, our strategy starts to really fire on all cylinders. And that is exactly what happened both yesterday and today, making over $14,000 in 2 days. And I want to break down all the trades that I took this week. I'm going to ignore some of the really small trades, the break evens, the little losers, little wins. I'm going to break down the significant trades, some of the big losers from Monday and Tuesday, and then the very major winners from Wednesday and Thursday. So overall, a review of my week. At the end of the video, we're going to have some live trades. So if you want to stay tuned to see some of the live trades that I took from today, make sure to stick around towards the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So guys, let's get started in today's video. On the left side, you see my brokerage account. That is Interactive Brokers. You know this is not fake. If this was fake, there would be red things everywhere that said this is simulated trading. Here's my brokerage account. Here's what I'm currently holding. Here was my day today, about a $2,900 day. Unrealized about $2,960 because of my TSM swing trade. So my realized was 1.8 today, and my unrealized is 2.8. So I have about $1,000 of unrealized gains right now. As you guys can see here, TSM and MU, I still have those open. I really like those swing trades. If you guys watch the live streams, if you're in the Discord, you know exactly why I'm in this trade. So make sure to stay tuned to either the Discord, join it if you want, or just come for free to the live streams, right? You can come for free every single morning to the live streams where we went over this entire TSM trade. So that's my broker. That was my day. Figured I would share that. So here is TradeZilla, guys, and here is my week. You can see I started the week with about a $1,500 loss over the first 2 days, and then you can see over the next 2 days, $9,200 win and $1,800 win realized today. Obviously, you just saw my unrealized gains in TSM. I'm a little bit upset about Monday and Tuesday, and I will talk to you why. Because what you'll see when we look over these trades, they were great trades. Very good entries. The problem that I had was I got a little bit too confident in my runners, and I let my runners turn me red on positions. Not something I do often, and I'm a little upset that I did this, and it's something that is good to review. This is why I love TradeZilla. I love reviewing my trades, why I make videos about it, because I know that both Monday and Tuesday, the thing that I did wrong, the thing that I did incorrectly that made me turn red on the day was letting runners turn me red. And that's not something I'll typically do, so something I definitely need to pay attention to. And let's go ahead and review those trades now. So if I go into Monday, we're going to look at this losing trade right here. This is on NVDA. And when we look at this trade, you will see that I lost about 20% on this trade, which is pretty common with my losers, 10, 20%. I'm not that upset about the percent. It's a comfortable loss. I'm not upset about the loss money-wise. It is what it is. I'm upset about how I managed it. So if we go to NVIDIA, you guys can see that my first entry was right here on NVIDIA, right? So I took puts here around this 284.50, 285 level, and it was a fantastic entry. I got a very nice dip to the downside where I took profits here down at 323 from 265. So a great win, right? And if I go down, you can see I was up about $530 on this position at one time. I was in a very nice position. It was a great trade. You can see I scaled out of this around 323, but I let 5 runners go. I was very confident in NVIDIA further downside. Part of this, which I've talked about in the live stream, which won't really come across to you guys here on the videos, I have a lot of NVIDIA shares, a lot. And I wanted to hold this position as sort of a hedge to my long-term portfolio. So I could have probably taken profits on that one. I did hold some runners because I was a little bit concerned about some further NVIDIA downside. I have 200 shares in NVIDIA. As you guys, some of you may know if you pay attention to my long-term holdings, I did hold this with a little bit more conviction because of that reason. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I really can't say whether that's right or wrong. That's sort of the decision I made at that time. So unfortunately, I do walk away with a loss here, $526. That was my Monday. That was the main loser of Monday. I walk away with a loss, right? I sort of let this thing ride and just sort of took profit or took a loss at the end of the day. You guys can see I just let this thing go all day and just closed it here on the end of day on Monday. I said, this thing doesn't look like it's going to break down. Let me just cut this loss where it is. I lost about $500 on this position. So guys, the next loss that I took here was $884. This was a swing trade on Google. I was very confident in this trade. I liked Google downside under 118. It was a key level that I was watching. I went ahead and I took some puts pretty much at the top of the day on Tuesday, which I'm very happy about this entry. And I held them all day, right? Google continued lower all day. I saw no reason to get out of this position. We sort of grinded lower all day. I was in a nice position. I had pretty much break even pretty much the entire trade as I was scaled in here, and I was sort of break even by close on Tuesday. Wednesday opened and we just rocketed out of the gates. I was expecting Google to potentially break this 117 low, looking for some more downside. Unfortunately, I had to take my loss on this trade on Wednesday. The realized loss hits here on Tuesday because that's when I opened the trade, and that was pretty much the big losing trade from Tuesday. $884 on Google. I went ahead and I accepted my loss there on Monday and Tuesday, and I accepted that these losses are comfortable. They're about 2% of my total portfolio. I'm okay losing that money. I know that I can make those losses back. I had to keep my head, understand that there will be better opportunities in the future, and all it takes is one good trade to make back a $500 loser and an $800 loser. So this is where the fun begins, and this is where I can confidently say that my mentality was true. My mentality was correct. I kept my losses small, and I walked into Wednesday, and I absolutely nailed this SPX trade. SPX and TSM. I opened the swing trade on TSM on Wednesday. You guys can see right here that is open. I have a TSM call that is open still. You guys just saw that on my broker, up about $2,600 on that. And I nailed this SPX trade for about 510%. This one was awesome. A $9,200 win, 510%. I went long SPX off of the 4120 demand. So I got here a little bit early, right? We'll go into the charts and sort of review what I was looking at. I got in a little bit early, was in a little bit of drawdown in my SPX play, but I was not going to exit this play until the ES, the S&P 500 futures, broke below 4120. That was my entire game plan, which we will jump into the charts and review why I was doing that. And I continued to hold this pretty much the entire day. I wanted to get into SPX. I saw the demand below on the ES. I believed in it. I wanted to go long off that demand and see if there was an upside reaction off that demand like we have seen so many times in the past. I caught pretty much that entire squeeze end of day yesterday, and I got about 510%, about a $9,200 winner. So here is the S&P 500 futures on the 1 hour chart, and I want to break down why I took this SPX call, what I was looking at on the market, what made me believe so strongly that we would potentially see some upside yesterday and today. I took SPX again today. We will see that trade live at the end of today's video. You guys can see here on the hourly chart, it's not very difficult to read, right? We can see that we had this downtrend here on the top side of the ES. Every day from Wednesday of last week, we made lower highs, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We continued to do that. This is an ascending triangle. And if we get a break of this downtrend, it will typically create a very large squeeze to the upside. This is a very common technical factor. Now, the reason I was so confident on going long the ES on Wednesday morning was because we were pulling back right into this demand. 4125 to 4120, it showed us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times over the last 5 trading days that it wanted to hold that level, right? We can see this is just simple demand hold action. Every single time the ES popped down into 4120, 4125, we saw an upside reaction off that level. So Wednesday morning, when I saw us trading towards that 4120, I told myself, you have to take this trade. This is a trade that makes sense in regards to risk reward. This is a trade that makes sense off of technical analysis. This is your strategy, right? You play demand holds, you play supply rejections. And this was a textbook demand hold. I had to go long here on SPX. It was almost like you have to take it more than should I take it, because at the point of Wednesday, I said, if you don't take this, you're not trusting your analysis. You're not going through with your plan. You have to take this trade. This is a trade that aligns with all of your analysis in regards to demand holds, right? So I saw this demand hold at 41.20. I went long the SPX, and pretty much the rest is history, right? I was comfortable holding that pretty much all day. I will go into Wednesday's price action. You guys can see it right here. This is yesterday. This is Wednesday, and you guys can see early morning we got that aggressive dip right into demand, 41.25. I'll go ahead and put on the after hours so that you guys can sort of tell when the market opened. Right there, you can see market opened on Wednesday, big aggressive dip right into demand. As you guys know, if you watch the live streams, if you watch my channel, you know I say this all the time, right? When we get big dips into demand, this is when the chasers start to come in, right? They start to chase the puts. They start to look for the downside because they think this time we're going to break the demand, or this time we're going to break that level. Now, how I like to trade is I would rather look at the level and see if it holds because it's held in the past, right? I'm not going to be the first person trying to trade through a demand or through a supply. I trust the demands. I trust the supplies. So instead of chasing puts here, that's not what I'll usually do, right? What I'll usually do here is I'll wait. I'll wait to see if that demand steps up, and it sure as hell started to here. This was around 9:55, 10 o'clock. I was down a little bit on my SPX call as we got that slip, but I was comfortable holding here, right? I wanted to stick to my plan. I did not want to micromanage my trade. As long as we were above this 41.25, 41.20 demand zone that was on my chart, I wanted to remain in this position. So you can see we got a drop. We held that demand like we did so many times in the past, and I pretty much just held this thing until we got this big squeeze, right? As we were getting this squeeze, I was starting to scale out. I'll go back to TradeZella. You guys can see I started to scale out here. This was around 107. This was around 117, and this was around 233 is when I started to scale out. These contracts went from around 175, 190 to around $11, $12, and that is how I made about $9,300 on SPX on Wednesday. Demand hold, a demand hold that we've seen so many times before, right? Not very difficult technicals, just trusting demand right here that we held, 4, 5, 6 times over the last 5 trading days. Now, today I took SPX again. I made about a 30% gain on SPX here, made about 12% gain on SPX here. All in all, made about $1,000 trading SPX. I took the 4180 calls. Why did I take these calls, right? What made me enter this position? If I go here, you guys can see I was entering at demand once again, like I always like to do, which was here in the morning around 9:57, entering around the 4150, 4160 level on SPX and scaling out into the push. Why did I take this SPX trade? It's the same concept, right? So here is SPX, or here's ES, and here is the break and retest that made me enter this position. Now, I'll make one thing clear. I will trade SPX based off the ES chart. It's the same thing in my eyes. I didn't even look at SPX one time when trading SPX. I'm watching the ES futures. That's how I'm taking advantage of these moves. So we come into today, and what do we see, right? Yesterday, if you guys pay attention to the analysis that I provide in the Discord, on the live streams, once again, you have to sort of pay attention to what I provide. 4170 this morning was extremely key. So if I go to my intraday commentary in the Discord, I will go ahead and show you guys here in the Discord real quick what we talked about this morning on the ES. Watching this 4165 to 4170 level on the ES. If we stay below it, we have to stay open to the opportunities of moving lower. If we regain this 4165 to 4170, it is possible for that demand to hold once again. On the NASDAQ, this was 13620 to 13630. So if I go to the NASDAQ, you will see this, the same exact concept, right? 13630, which was right here. You guys can see this is the yesterday, this is the pre-market after hours, and this is today. We had a dip right into 13630 into the pre-market, and we had a fantastic hold of that level. 13630, this was yesterday's pullback level, pre-market and after hours hold. We had an upside in the pre-market, pulled back into that demand, and a fantastic bounce off of it. So this correlates to the 4165 to 4170 level on the ES. So if I go to the 5-minute chart and we look at what happened from yesterday into today, you can see right here, we had consolidation above 4165 to 4170. We held it end of day yesterday. We held it all pre-market and after hours. Pre-market, we got a push. We got an aggressive pullback. And look at where we started to hold at market open. We started to retain that 4165 to 4170 demand. As I started to see that, once again, I said to myself, you have to trust your demand holds, right? You have to trust the levels that you trade. So I went long SPX right here, right? And got about $1,000 gain on the upside trading the SPX. I have that entire trade recorded live, and I will share it with you in today's video as well. The last trade that I want to talk about in today's video, I know it's getting long, and I know we're talking about a lot of trades, but I figured why not? NVDA. NVDA was an awesome break and retest today. I got in long off the 303 demand hold. You guys can see that right here. Got long at 303. It's right in this general area right here, long about 303. It was after we bounced off of it and started to scale out of this trade up here around 307. Could have gotten a lot more on this one, obviously. I mean, look at this move. So, of course, yes, I wish I held a little bit, but this is my normal type of trade, right? This is what I do. My normal scalps are 10, 15, 20%. I take my profits. I walk away with a nice win, and that is how I remain consistent. I don't look at this and I say, man, what if I held? What if I held? You saw what happened to me when I held on Monday and Tuesday. I ended up losing on that trade, right? So you look at this trade and you say, oh, you should have held. You could have got more. And then you look at Monday and you say, you should have sold. Why'd you hold it so long, right? So there's no winning, right? And that is why, for me, to stay consistent, I stick to taking profits. I know I can stay consistent by taking profits, something I did not do on Monday and Tuesday, which caused me to lose. 27% on NVIDIA. I have this entire trade recorded live. We will go over that. I'll go to the chart real quick. NVIDIA, this was pretty much the same analysis as the NASDAQ and ES. So here's NVIDIA. I'll go ahead and turn on the after hours and pre-market so you guys can see where we opened. You can see we held this 303 level all morning in the pre-market, and I told the group if we pull back to 303, look to see if that level holds, and let's see if that is a demand hold. A perfect hold of 303, very strong aggressive candle off that level. I went long with a stop under 303, right? That is a break and retest of that previous rejection point, and I have this entire trade recorded live, so I figured what's the best way to review a trade? It's to see it live. So let's go ahead and now run the live recording from today. SPX, you'll see TSM, you'll see NVIDIA, you'll see the trades that I entered today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, I'm going to go ahead and end it now and then just include the live video after. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the live trades that you're about to watch, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace. This NVIDIA hold of 303's got my interest as well. Yeah, I'm going to try along on NVIDIA. I'm in NVIDIA 305 calls. That 303 hold is very interesting to me. I'm in NVIDIA 305 calls. Stop under 303. Looking for this little squeeze off this 303 demand hold. Let's see if I can catch that. Alright, I got to take some off NVIDIA. Up 20% already. Took half off NVIDIA. Up $640 on that. Very nice. Oh, we're going. All right, 33% on NVIDIA. Awesome. I'm not even looking at TSM. What's TSM doing? I'm up 200% on TSM. Damn. All right, taking a little bit more off on NVIDIA, down to 2 contracts. I'm not giving that back. It's a beautiful start. Down to 2 contracts on NVIDIA. I mean, I have no concerns now, just watching. The ES is looking really good on a hold here. I would watch this ES hold of 4165. It's really holding up there. All right, I'm opening some SPX calls. I'm in some 4180 calls for $3, $3.50. I'm going to see if it holds 4160, 4165. Stop loss is right under this 4165. All right, if you got some profits this morning on those semis, don't give it back. Don't give it back. Hold runners, but don't give it back. All right, I'm locking in, I'm up 2,100. I'm not giving that money back. So I'm making sure I'm starting to de-risk here. The de-risk. has begun for me.